Hi guys, Arissa Dia here, and I am back with another Otomania. This one's a bit special. It is the first Otomania of February, and if you are an avid mobile Otome player like I am, you will know February is a very important month, and that is because of Valentine's Day. The first half of February means Valentine's events, whether it be Valentine's Day gachas or story events. This is the time that we get to show our Otome guys how much we care about them and how much they care about us. And so I wanted to do something a little bit Valentine's Day themed in honor of that, because Valentine's Day Otome events are such an important part of the month of February. And I didn't know what to do because it's kind of hard to play a Valentine's event, because a lot of the times if there's a story event, like, you might not be able to play it all in one sitting and things like that. And so I debated on what to do for a while, and I was actually going to try to make chocolate for my ultimate, like, Otome, like, husband, but I really bad with chocolate, like, so bad. I burn it every time. So instead, I thought it'd be really fun to do compatibility tests between me and different Otome characters. And I thought it wouldn't be as much fun if I just did like my ultimate. And so I had the fun idea to actually make it into a compatibility contest. And so I have picked two teams, essentially teams of guys I love and teams of guys that I kind of hate. And we are going to battle to see if we are compatible with each other, and to see if I'm more compatible with the guys that I love or with the guys that I hate. And so I just thought that this would be like kind of like a fun little Valentine's Day experiment, I guess. And so on each team, I have picked 3 different guys. I didn't want to have too many, and they are going to be put through 3 different compatibility tests. So the 3 different compatibility tests I have are name compatibility, so it will be our 2 names will go into essentially like a website generator thing, and that will tell us our compatibility. I have this regular like zodiac compatibility, and then I have one that does both, but it's from a different site. And so I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see the names and zodiacs individually and then like together in one generator. And then we're going to tally them all up and see what happens. So on Team Love, I have my ultimate Otome husband and my husband. He is my everything when it comes to anime. My ultimate husbando, Takeru Tatsuka from Kamigami no Asobi. That's probably not a surprise. I've made a couple videos where I've said that, so of course he had to be on the list. Next, in second place, we have Sho Kurusu from Utapri. He is probably one of my favorite Otome characters ever. I really just love how energetic he is, and I love his voice. And speaking of his voice, the third person on Team Love and final person on Team Love is Ray Blackwell from Ikemen Revolution. And the reason why I said speaking of Sho's voice when it came to Ray is they share the same voice actor. This is kind of funny, but also like Hiroshimono is one of my favorite voice actors, and he actually voices a lot of my favorite Otome characters. So these two just happen to be 2 of my favorites that are both voiced by him. But these 3 I'd probably say are definitely my top like Otome guys overall. Probably. I love all of them like separately, but I definitely say they're probably my top 3 guys ever. And then on Team Hate, we have Lucian from Mr. Love Queen's Choice. This is a very probably unpopular opinion. I hate Lucian. Next Otomania, I will be doing my review of like MLQC, and I will go into a bit more detail there. But I hate him. I don't think I've ever hated an otome guy as much as I hate him. Most of the time, I don't hate otome guys. Like, I just kind of like, I admit, like, okay, you're not my type, and I kind of just like whatever about them and kind of just ignore him. I hate him so much. Like, I loathe him completely. I drew one of his SSR cards from like a limited time gacha event, and I literally almost threw my iPod. I was like so mad that I drew him. But I will get into why I hate him next Otomania when I like review things. But just know, for various reasons, I hate him. Next up on Team Hate is Eiichi Otori from Utapri. He is my least favorite Utapri guy ever. There are 18 of them, and he is my least favorite by a long shot. Like, I cannot stand him. Like, I don't get why people like him, and I don't even get why he is liked within the anime universe itself. And I'm stating this mainly because he's kind of a jerk throughout the entirety of it, but specifically in the 4th season, he's like a complete jerk to Otoya, like to the point where like Otoya goes missing and like has like a complete like existential crisis because of Eiichi. And then like as soon as like Starish like helps Otoya, Eiichi comes and is like, I need your help, like you need to like save heavens, and everybody's just like, okay, yeah. Like they just completely ignore that fact. So for that reason alone, I really don't like Eiichi. I despise him, not as much as I hate Lucian, but I just genuinely have never liked Eiichi. um and then third on Team Hate, I have Kiri from Oz Mafia. It was kind of hard for me to pick the third person for Team Hate because, like I said, I really don't hate like otome guys. Like most of the time I'm just like, you're not my type and you're kind of annoying, but I'm just gonna ignore you or like pretend you don't exist or just accept the fact that we would not get along if we were like face to face. But I decided to put Kiri on here because I've put in over 100 hours on Oz Mafia. I have dealt with him so much, and by the end of the game, I pitied him, but only for like one reason. When I'm actually playing the routes, I get really annoyed because he's very narcissistic and precocious, and he teases in a way that attacks my intelligence. And I mentioned this in my Oz Mafia review. I don't like when my intelligence is being attacked, and actually that's part of the reason why I hate Lucian, is that both of them make me feel like I'm intellectually inferior to them, and I hate when people do that. And so I put him on this list just because that is something that like super annoyed me and I like genuinely had an issue with throughout my 100 hours of gameplay of that game. So that is how he ended up on Team Hate. And so now that we know all of the guys, let's try to figure out if we can do these compatibility tests. Okay, so first up we have the name compatibility. And it says to enter full names. Half of them don't have full names. Well, I guess, okay, 2 of the 6 don't have full names. So I'm just gonna go with just first names. And first time on camera, this is my real first name. I don't think I've ever actually tried it. I tried not this one, but I did try with a couple other people just to make sure that like these things worked. So first up, we are going to go with Takaru. But yes, this is my first time I'm actually showing my real name. Most of the time, like you guys know, he has Arisadia Arissa, but full name is Marissa. Okay, that's surprisingly low. Okay, it's not actually low. It's lower than I wanted. Takaru is obviously like a character that I relate to on a very like emotional like level and stuff. And so I'm actually like surprised. I guess it's a little over half, but this is just names. Like, it's hard to tell with just like names. And so, whoops, as we get all the ads, we love that. Next up, let's do show. 15%. Okay, that's a bit, okay, well, that's really low, but it's a bit more expected that like that one would be lower. And I feel like this is kind of like weird, but I'm also kind of basing this off of just like the zodiacs, because I do know there's zodiac signs and stuff, and that's typically how like I base compatibility and stuff. Like, say what you want about like astrology, but I really do feel strongly about astrology, hence part of the reason why I'm doing a compatibility test. But show, I figured, because our zodiac signs aren't compatible, but I guess that wouldn't mean our names are necessarily not compatible. Okay, so far, Takaru and I do have the highest compatibility, at least out of Team Love. And now we are moving on to Team Hate, and honest to God, if somehow Lucian ends up with like the highest compatibility with me, like overall, I might cry. Like, I don't want that. Okay. Right now he's in second place for the name category. That's not too bad. I'm glad this has like an easy button to just like bring me back, but I'd prefer if there wasn't like an ad popping up. Itchy. 23.5. Okay. As of now, show is the lowest for the names, but we still have Kiri. Okay. 34. Okay, for the name compatibility, in first place we have Takaru. Thank God. Second place we have Kiri. Third place Lucian. Fourth place Ray. Fifth place Eichi. And last place Sho. So now we are going to go into the love compatibility, which uses zodiac signs. So I'm going to set mine up. I am a Cancer. I was born July 4th. I'm an Independence baby. Honestly, it sucks, but I get fireworks, so kind of makes up for it. So at the start, let's do Takaru. Takaru is a Pisces, which is 98% of why I like love Takaru. Like, he's a tsundere, but he's got like that Pisces like warm gushy inside. So like, I love him. So this is gonna be 9 out of 10. Yeah. So I'm gonna put this at 90% because it's out of 10. So I'm just gonna put them into percentages so that it's easier. Pisces and Cancers were water signs, baby. So obviously, like, we're gonna be pretty high up together. Let's do Cancer. And then Sho is a Gemini, which is why I was not too surprised that our name compatibility was a bit lower. Geminis and Cancers don't have as great of a relationship. I have a couple of friends who are Geminis, and honestly, some of my like rockiest relationships, at least friendship-wise. I haven't dated a Gemini, but at least friendship-wise, some of my rockiest relationships have been with Geminis. So I'm not too surprised to see that that's a bit lower. Then we have Ray Blackwell, and he is an Aries, so I don't actually have to change that. I was actually really surprised. I thought that he was a Cancer, or not a Cancer. Whew, no. I thought that he was a Pisces, but he's actually not. He's a few days after the cusp of Pisces. So yeah, This one I'm also not surprised to see is lower. Both of my parents are Aries, and it's like my mom and I like fight head to head like all the time. And it's definitely like I feel like part of like the stubbornness of both Cancers and Aries just don't mesh well, at least in terms of fighting. Lucian is a Scorpio, which I kind of want to call BS on because he is probably one of the least Scorpios I've ever heard of. But I know that it's going to be high because it's a water sign. So that kind of like annoys me. Because he really does not seem like a Scorpio to me. And then next up we have Itchy. Itchy is a Virgo, which also he does not seem like a Virgo. But I feel like he's too mature and slightly sadistic to be a Virgo. And then last but not least, we have Kiri. Kiri is an Aquarius, which could also be why I don't get along with him. It's really weird. I have some friends who are Cancers who love Aquariuses and get along great with Aquariuses. I tend not to. I don't know if it was maybe like one of my exes is an Aquarius and like we had like a very like stressful relationship. So I feel like I blame Aquarius on a lot of that. But personally, I don't have good experiences with Aquariuses. And as you can see, it's kind of like sign. So for the love compatibility, at number 1, we have Takaru and Lucian tied for first with 90%. They're both water signs. That's not that much of a surprise. Then we have Ecchi with 70%. And then we have Kiri and Ray tied with 40%. And then Sho is in last with 30%. So far, it seems like Sho is definitely the least compatible with me. But Takaru does seem to be the most compatible. So let's hope we keep that momentum going. Last up, I'm going to be using this site. The last 2 sites were on horoscope.com. This one is called My Love Cal, which is just my love calendar. So it's combining the name and either your birthday or zodiac sign. I'm doing zodiac signs because they don't have birth years. Like 2 of them are immortal, and so they don't have birth years. So I'm going to be doing zodiac. Also, I'd like to point out that their examples for the names of the people are fish and chips, and I think that's great. Let's put me in. I am a Cancer. Cancer. There we go. And then let's do Takeru. And he is a Pisces. Let's see how this goes. Fingers crossed. 94%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We love that. 94%. That's great. All we have. Ooh, this one goes a lot more in depth than I was thinking. So we have full hearts and romance, full hearts and loyal, which if you know his character, like he is a very loyal character, and I'm also like a very loyal person when it comes to like dating. Independent. We shouldn't be too clingy. I am kind of clingy. I will admit that. Daring. He is slightly more daring than me, which makes a lot of sense if you know his personality. I am not daring. I have my moments where I am daring, but I'm like also not. I am, I'd say, more stubborn than him, which is surprising because he's a very stubborn character. Inconsistent. I tend to like routines. I don't stick well with routines, but I tend to like them. Emotional, we're both very emotional. Possessive, I am possessive, but that is because of like incidents that have like happened in the past. But I'm not like yandere possessive. But that's interesting. I love that. Okay, so that is Take's compatibility with me. Let's try. Next up is Sho. Oh. Sho. And he is a Gemini. Fun fact about Sho being a Gemini, he is one of the only character. Well, he actually is the only character that has a twin. He actually shares a birthday with his roommate on the show, who is also a Gemini, and his roommate has split personality disorder, and so it's kind of like interesting how they made the one that has a twin and the one who has like two different personalities both Geminis. I thought that was really interesting. Like it's especially because like that's like the only time like zodiac stuff really like comes up. But Sho is 51%. Makes sense that it'd be a bit lower. A lot more. He's a lot more independent, a lot more daring. That makes sense. I'm more stubborn. He's more inconsistent. I'm definitely more emotional and possessive. Yeah, so that kind of checks out. Next up, we have Ray. And he is an Aries. 70%. That's honestly higher than I thought it was going to be. So he's more independent and more loyal. He's more daring, which makes sense. We're equally stubborn and more emotional. Yeah, that kind of checks out for his character. Next up, I'm nervous for this one. I think this one's the one that I'm most nervous for. Because I obviously hate. Oh, he's not a Cancer. Oh, that was almost a bad thing. No, he's not a Virgo. Oh my god, why can I not, like, read? Ooh, 87. Okay, so he is lower than Take. That makes me feel so much better. I kind of disagree with the loyalty thing, at least in where I am. Though I agree with the possessive, though. He does seem very, very possessive. But yeah, okay. Interesting. Next up, we have Echi. This one I feel like is going to be in the probably like 50s to 60s range. Okay, 70. A bit higher than I was expecting, but not too far off. Yeah, so he's definitely like... I'm surprised the possessive isn't a bit higher, honestly. And then finally, we have Kiri. And he is an Aquarius. This one might be 50s to 60s. Yeah, 51. Yeah, he's very independent, very daring, quite stubborn, not very emotional, that's true. Yeah, okay. Interesting. So, for this, in first place is Chakaru with 94, then Lucian with 87, Echi with 72, Ray with 70, and then Sho and Kiri tied with 51. And now, let's go back and do the final tally. Okay. The results are in. So, I'm going to give the individual scores first, and then I will announce the team's scores. Okay, so the way that I did this is I added up all the numbers from the percents into one giant number. So I guess it can't be considered a percent because most of them are over 100, but I guess I'll change it to points. So in 6th place with 96 points is Sho Kurusu. I'm kind of surprised by that, just because I was at least hoping he'd beat some of, like, Team Hate, but I did figure that he probably wasn't going to be very compatible with me. In 5th place is Kiri with 125 points. I was kind of expecting to have, like, a pretty low score. There's a reason he's on Team Hate. In 4th place is Ray Blackwell with 135 points, so he only beat Kiri by 10 points. I'm a bit surprised by that, just because, like, I love Ray so much and I thought we'd be a bit more compatible, but I can kind of see how we might not be that compatible. In 3rd place is Echi Otori with 165.5 points. I'm really surprised by this, just because I do have, like, a pretty dislike for this character. Like, I really don't enjoy having him in the shows and things like that, so I'm really surprised that, like, we do have such a high compatibility rating, because, like, I feel like if I saw him in person, I'd probably punch him in the face. I feel like that's how my reaction to him would be. In 2nd place is Lucian with 210.5 points. I am so annoyed by this news. I hate him so much. But he did not come in first, and he was actually beat by quite a bit. And I feel like 90% of why our compatibility was so high is literally because he's a Scorpio. And I feel like if he was anything but a Scorpio or a water sign, it would definitely be a lot lower. And I think the fact that he doesn't act like a Scorpio, I think, is one of the issues. If he acted like a Scorpio, I still probably wouldn't like him, but he'd probably be a lot more bearable than, like, how much I hate him now. In 1st place, though, drum roll, is Takaru with 237.5. If that is not a high enough number to prove that we are, like, soulmates, I don't know what is. Like, the fact that he got the highest score across the board in every single category, and he is, like, the love of my life when it comes to, like, anime or, like, otome. Like, he is my husbando. I love him. Like, this will be my 7th year of him, like, being my anime husband. Like, we are in it for the long haul. So I am, like, really, really happy that he is first. I honestly did not know what I was going to do if, like, Lucian beat him, or if he ended up, like, having the lowest score out of, like, all of them. Like, I probably would have cried. Like, I don't know how I would be able to, like, handle that information that, like, these, like, horoscope and, like, compatibility tests, like, tell me that, like, my favorite character, who I, like, relate to on such a personal level, isn't actually compatible with me. So I'm really glad that, like, we are extremely compatible. Although it is kind of sad to know that he does not actually exist for me to date. But it is nice knowing that if he did exist, and I was able to date him, that we'd be very compatible. So that makes me very happy and warm on the inside. And now for the team scores. We have Team Love with 468.5 points and Team Hate with 501 points. So Team Hate did win. I am apparently more compatible with the ones that I hate instead of the ones that I love, but the one that I love the most is the number one ranking overall, so that makes me feel better. And like I said, at the end of the day, like, a lot of like this was based off of the whole zodiac signs, and it did not help that the number one guy of Team Hate is a compatible zodiac sign with me. And like, I knew how much zodiac signs were going to play into this, and so I just chose my favorite characters. Most of them I didn't look up their birthdays until after, and like I said, I actually thought Ray was a Pisces. I didn't realize that he was an Aries until I went and like actually looked up his birthday, because I knew it was in March, but I didn't know when in March. And like all of Team Hate, I didn't know when their birthdays were at all. I actually didn't even know if Kiri had a birthday because they don't celebrate birthdays in the game, so I wasn't sure. So if I had strongly wanted Team Love to win, I would have stacked Team Love with more water signs. But this way it's fair. I chose my 3 favorite characters and 3 of my least favorite characters. And so it is what it is. I am apparently more compatible with the ones that I hate, but my anime husband is the most compatible to me. So at the end of the day, that's all I'm going to take away from this. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my Otome Valentine's Day compatibility contest. This was like a lot of fun. I really wanted to do something for Valentine's Day and I didn't know what. Maybe next year, let me know down in the comments below if you think I should like do my like original plan and like make Valentine's Day chocolate for Takaru, especially because now it's proven from these tests that we are extremely compatible. And so maybe next year, let me know if I should attempt to make him chocolate and see how that turns out, because it'd probably be disastrous, honestly. Or maybe like make him a card, or like I was thinking like judging like Otome Valentine's Day, because like Valentine's cards, because I think those are really, really funny. But I know next Valentine's Day is so far off because this one's for 2021. But if you have any ideas for 2022 Valentine's Day, like definitely let me know, because it is a very important holiday for Otome fans, at least in my opinion, just based on like the influx of like Valentine's Day events. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really, really fun for me to do. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I release more Otomania videos or just other fun videos on my channel. Otomania comes out every other Monday. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day, whether you're single like me or have somebody have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Try your best to do it in like these COVID pandemic times. But yeah, have a happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Love you. Bye.